All right, here we go. Good evening from Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Saturday. It's been mid-90s and humid.
Yes.
But we were working inside most of the day. This is John. This
Hi.
is Stephanie. You are from
Ridgeview Homestead.
Ridgeview Homestead. We're going to tease it, so go look
Yep.
at that. There might be a link below. There might be a link right up here. What were we working on today?
The kitchen.
Yes, the kitchen. It looks way better.
Yes.
We have some cabinets installed, countertop kind of fixed, or a game plan
Well,
for that.
the big thing was the exhaust
Oh,
hood.
the exhaust hood, of course.
We cut a hole in the cabin
Yep.
and everything.
We did.
Had to move the electrical up there,
Yep.
and that was kind of an ordeal. And
Took a
but
long time.
yeah, but it got done, and
It
did.
that's
It's
huge.
done.
And I will take you inside. We got to get them off. They need some dinner and all that stuff. But I'll take you inside and show you some of the stuff that was done today. And you've been here helping 2 other times, and I just cannot say thank you enough. So make sure to say thank you to John and Stephanie. And they've got a Ridgeview Homestead.
Little teaser for you. It's
Just
coming.
getting it started.
Yep.
Yep.
We got one video up. We're gonna be doing some more soon.
Well, what about your situation? You were like a month ago. Where were you guys at a month ago?
Just looking still,
Yep,
looking
still
for
just
property.
looking. Yep. And living in an apartment in Little Rock.
And we found something,
yeah.
and we have an offer in. So it's going through the whole process, the survey process, and we should be closing soon. So if all goes well, we'll be closing by the end of the month.
Yep.
Cool.
End of the month.
Dot some I's, cross some T's. You'll be good.
All that good stuff.
Yes.
And then we gotta pay them too.
Oh.
We don't get it for free. I was hoping.
And then
But no.
your dreams for that place is, have you had a place out in the country before, or is
No.
this new for you?
This will be
Brand
the first
new.
time.
Yeah. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Oh yeah.
Always
Exciting.
lived in the city.
Yep.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
It is. I love seeing people get to a new homestead, getting started, and sharing their dreams.
Yeah, it's like exciting, a little bit scary, all those things all rolled into one. So
Yep.
it's a thrill.
Well,
Looking
I
forward.
look forward to great things from you. You have done
Yes.
great things for me. A new kitchen, you're going to love
Yeah.
what was done in the kitchen and your help before. And you made some friends
Yep.
We have
through here.
Yes,
have-
we sure have.
Chad and Monica.
Uh-huh.
Who else?
Let's see, Stephen from Hickory Ridge. We kind
You
of met
Well, we
him.
met
brought
him.
Yeah, I guess that's it. True.
I made friends with him through
Yes.
you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just showing
We
the
met-
community that was.
Yeah, we met Ann and Andy.
Yeah, we met
when
Ann
they
and
came
Andy
out.
here.
They've come out a couple times, and we've worked with them.
Homemaker.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh my gosh.
Drew,
There's been a
Dutch
bunch
Creek
of
Cat.
people.
Yeah,
Drew, of
but
course.
you know
We got
that
to
was.
meet Papa Pepper.
It wasn't a one-time thing.
Mhm.
It's a community that's forming, friendships that are forming.
Yep.
And I just think that's wonderful that I've been a part of
Yeah.
this, and so
We love
Yeah.
being a part of it too.
Yeah.
awesome. All right, check out their channel, and we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
It's now Tuesday night. That quick interview with John and Stephanie happened on Saturday. The rest of my footage from Saturday, just yada yada yada. There is no more rest of the footage from Saturday. I didn't take any action video anyway because we were working, and I don't know how to do all that stuff, and it's tight spaces, and we got, the stove is moved out over here, and yeah, it just it didn't happen. What I did Saturday was, after they left, I did a tour and explained everything that happened that day. So I'm just going to do that again, this time with plenty of lights and without all the fans going. So let's take a look at wait a second. Thank you again to John and Stephanie. They're just incredible. They came out the original work day back in May. They came out again, and they came out again, and they're just so fun to be around and to work with. They knew how to do stuff, and that's huge to me right now, and I learned things from them, and so it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I didn't video the whole thing for everybody to see. So they are just getting started on YouTube. They now have two videos. They're doing a little camper shopping. You know, they've got a property. It's not a done deal. It's close to being a done deal. I don't want to give away everything, but I would love to give them a little jump start on YouTube. And I know they're going to be so busy as they move to their new property or figure out how they're going to move to their new property. That's why they're shopping for campers. Anyway, it's so exciting, and I wish John and Stephanie the best, and I thank them again for all of their work. So, with that, now let's take a look at all of their work on Saturday. Moving the stove out of there was the first order of business because they were installing a exhaust hood, and that exhaust to the exterior. So, yeah, move the stove out of the way. And there is an electrical outlet behind the stove that this is originally where the refrigerator was. So there was a regular electric outlet back there for the refrigerator. So John knows what he's doing, and because that outlet was there, he was just able to move the electricity up to the exhaust hood so that it has a light and a fan. Let's see, move the stove out of the way, all the measurements, blah, blah, blah. Cut a hole in the drywall, cut a hole in the side of the cabin, ran that gave them easier access. It was kind of a struggle running the electric line behind that drywall since it already had insulation in it, so that hole kind of served two purposes. That helped them run the electric, and they did all of that work. I was just standing back and not getting electrocuted. No, we turned the proper breakers off and everything. Anyway, ran the electricity up there, all is good. The hole is in the back of the hood. I can't walk up too close. Originally, we thought we would have to go up through that cabinet up there and then outside, but this hood had an option to go straight out the back. And so that's what John did. And here's a quick picture of what the hole and the cabinet looked like, and then we put they put the cabinet in before they put the hood in. Let's take a look at this picture real quick. Yep, so that's how that happened. And as you can see, that upper cabinet has nothing in it, so that's just all extra storage space for me. I am 6 feet tall, so you know, if I'm sorry if this cabin lasts longer than I do. I'm sorry if the person after me is shorter than I am, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I did put the hood a little bit higher than normal, and then by extension that cabinet is a little bit higher than normal, just so that I don't have that hood right in my face when I'm trying to lean over and do some cooking. If that's all they had accomplished on Saturday, I would have been super happy. That would have been a big boost. But they didn't stop there. No, there's 2 more cabinets there to the left of the range hood. And one of them is an 18-inch, one of them is a 12-inch. And you can see how we have them staggered. It's typical to have those upper cabinets a few inches higher over the range hood. And so I think that's about 4 inches that's higher. And then, those 2 cabinets are equal. And then this one is a little lower. And this is Stephanie's idea. And I think it was a brilliant idea, because we've got this corner space there, and that's a little bit harder of a reach even for me at 6 foot tall. So she suggested, well, just lower it another 4 inches. You'll have the staggered cabinet. That looks good, and I do believe it does look good, and it'll be easier for me to reach the top shelf in those cabinets. So those cabinets were all installed. They're secure. I just need to wipe them out, give them a little initial cleaning, put the little shelf things in there. That doesn't have a shelf. Those 2 have shelves. Put the shelves in there, and then I can start moving in kitchen items, which I seem to have plenty of kitchen items these days. And they didn't stop there. Let's look at their next project. Another thing about the range hood, it does go through the wall. There is a like a vent cover on the outside. John picked that out for me, and they had to shorten the ductwork, I guess you'd call it, in between the hood and the outside. So they had to do that by hand, and it was it wasn't the easiest job in the world. But there are 2 damper vents in there, and so yeah, it all works pretty good. But yeah, there is a vent on the outside. I'll show you that at some point when it's not almost 11 p.m. Their next project were these lower cabinets. That is a Lazy Susan in the corner that was already there. If you'll recall, where this lower cabinet and that countertop is, that is originally where the stove was. Yeah, that's Grumpy over there. That's originally where the stove was. When, let's see, Levi and Tasha from Pine Knot Family Farm, they came down, link up there. Great family, great garden, great property, great people. I had so much fun when they came down. They also came down with Dan from Pure Hearts Homestead. He's in the Little Rock area, gardening, great updates on the Arkansas River flood. That was very fascinating. Dan at Pure Hearts Homestead. Anyway, when they came down, they moved the stove from there to its current position, and they moved the refrigerator, which is where the stove was, to right here. So, with that background in place, I got another lower cabinet. This one has a drawer, a slide-out drawer where I can do silverware. That will be my only slide-out drawer. So I purchased that, and so because of that, the Lazy Susan was not at the same height as the new lower cabinet. So the Lazy Susan had to be pulled out of there. It had to be raised up to be the proper height and leveled. They did all of that. The countertops are not done yet. Those are not secured and finalized into place. You can still see the stickers on there, and you can see where it's sticking out at the end. So what I can do is I can take that to Lowe's. They'll saw it for me for like $1, and then if anything happens, it's on them. So this was just a leftover piece of countertop, so I did not have to purchase it. In fact, I have another leftover piece of countertop about this size also. So this is not done yet. The countertop still needs to be finalized and secured. They did all the bracing and everything, so it's just you wanted to wait and do this corner piece until we get this cut, and this is ready to be secured also. So that was it on their accomplishments on Saturday, as if that was any small thing. That was a huge thing. So now I can start using this Lazy Susan. Oh, no, that wasn't it. Another thing, when Pine Knot Family Farm and Pure Hearts Homestead were here, because the stove was right here, the outlet was right there also. So what they did was they moved the outlet. They were able to move it over just, far enough that the cord still reached the stove. So in order to unplug and plug in the stove, John and Stephanie on Saturday, they had to cut a hole in the side of this cabinet. So, and that's a little hole access to the outlet for the stove. There you go. That's an update on all of the accomplishments of John and Stephanie on Saturday. I tried to help here and there. I think my brain came in useful a few times. I had a couple ideas that were, useful. That was always good. But yeah, and we just had fun sitting around talking and, learning about their ideas for their new property, and where they've come from and where they're going, and what their goals are. And it's just they're friends now. They're really our friends, and I hope we get together a lot more often, and not just out here for them to work for me. They've got a new place, so I can at least show up and plant some daffodils, can't I? thank you again to John and Stephanie, and I wish you the best of luck with the final days until your property is finalized, and then figuring all the rest of it out. I think have fun with it. I think you will. I think I think you're gonna do well also, because you know what you're doing. Look at all this handiwork behind me. They'll be successful. Okay, that was Saturday. Now, what happened on Monday? Grumpy sleeping on a chair inside. He pretty much lives inside for the past, I don't know, week. Except when somebody comes over, he does not like anybody else coming into his home. So when other people come over, he runs out. But other than that, he likes being indoors. And today was the first day with the new windowsill. And he spent most of the day up there. Let's take a look at a few quick pictures. Okay, here's my theory behind Grumpy deciding to be an indoor cat. There was a neighbor last week. A neighbor was driving down, not the lane out in front of my house, the other road where my mailboxes are. Was driving down there, and about a quarter of a mile from my house, there are these giant power lines that head through the Ouachita National Forest. And so those power lines are cleared. And in the clearing, in between the forest, my neighbor saw a mama bear and 2 baby cubs. And that was like a quarter of a mile from my property. So my theory is, Grumpy, being an Indiana cat that out in the country gave to me, he'd never seen a bear up there in Indiana. So my theory is Grumpy saw a bear, and Grumpy decided to be an indoor cat. And then when he sees other people come in, he thinks they're bears too. I don't know what the deal is on that, but yeah, Grumpy is happy. He'll go outside when he wants to go outside. On Monday, yesterday, Gregg, my new best friend in the world, apparently, stopped by with his time and talents and tools, and you can see this window frame behind me. Yes, that was his handiwork. So let's take a look at some of the other stuff. Gregg was here, I think, every day the Self-Reliant Roadshow was here, and then some. He's probably been here at least a dozen days helping me out. Just a huge unsung hero. He's definitely not here because he has a YouTube channel that he's trying, none of that stuff. Not that anybody here that came here was trying to do that, and even if they were, hey, that's all cool with me. So thank you to Gregg, and I learned so much yesterday doing the trim work, and learning how to use the tools so that now I can go ahead and start working on finishing the trim work, and there's a lot of trim work to be finished. So thank you again to Gregg. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that we got done on Monday. The first order of business was the top of this little half kitchen wall, and as you will recall, there was, well, I'll show you underneath. Can you see the original one? There was a 6-inch wide board originally on there, and we just decided to put a 12-inch wide board on there just to give me more space to put stuff. It's not you can't put a lot of heavy stuff on there. You can't be sitting on there and stuff like that. But so yeah, that was the first order of business, to go ahead, and this was all pre-stained, luckily. So we just had to cut it to the right size, put some screws in there, and I know there are better ways to do this. I am more about function than I am about how stuff looks. I do get suggestions to get a bar stool and then use that as an eating place, but right there is where my chest freezer is going to go. So maybe in the future, when I find a better place for the chest freezer, maybe I could use that as like a little dining space with the bar stools. But for now, this is just going to be a much wider cabinet that I can use to put stuff that hopefully the cats don't knock off. So that was the first order of business, and I think that's a great idea. I don't know who, that might have been my idea. The next project was working on the trim for this window, and that includes inside. You have to do it inside, and then the external trim. And we did an 8-inch board here at the base. I think I requested that, but that's probably something, I know that's something I've seen and other people have done. It's just, if you don't have cats, you can put, potted plants and all kinds of stuff. But if you do have cats, then the cats can enjoy it, and Grumpy sure seemed to enjoy it its first day in existence. So that was the first order of business, and through that I was able to learn a lot about where to put the nails, how to saw, which side goes up, which side goes down, and just little things that by doing this, it provided me a template so that I could learn how to use the tools and be able to do this. Another thing I want to point out real quick, this skill saw was previously gifted to me and it had not been used by me until Monday. So this got a lot of use on Monday. The brand new blade really came in handy for especially the trim work, so it didn't leave a lot of rough edges. And this was just a perfect addition to my tool arsenal. So thank you again for this skill saw, hand saw gift, because it was put to use on Monday in a big way. And then this is, Gregg brought his cordless electric nailer. And yeah, this is just so much easier than using a hammer and nails. So, and he's letting me borrow this until I get the trim done. So this is wonderful. Left me the charger with the battery, and this is great because I can just, I can go do 10-15 minutes at a time, maybe do 2 boards at a time, instead of, instead of having to hook up a compressor and run the hose and all that stuff. This I can just pick up and go. In fact, I did that tonight. I found a loose spot on one of the windows, and I just picked it up and put 3 little finishing nails in, and it's wonderful. So thank you again to Gregg. Having the tools and the knowledge goes a long way to getting that done. So I think this window just looks awesome. Those are just 1x4s. Everything has already been stained. That's going up now. There are some places where I still need to stain, but all right, let's take a look at what else was accomplished Monday. We got the 2 sides done of the trim on the door, and that can be, I didn't know how to do it, around the, there's that little latch there and how to do it. So I wasn't exactly sure about the placement of the trim. So Gregg was able to help me out, and we got all that figured out. And so now, because I saw how he did the top of the window, I can do that one myself. So this way we got a good start on that, and I can wait for the top of the door. Nah, not a window. I can wait for the top of the door, and now that those are in place, I can start working on the trim at the baseboard. So well, yeah, we left this unfinished on purpose so that I can finish it, because we wanted to work on another project. Let's look at that. All right, this is the very front window, and it's a little tricky cutting that corner there. So while we still had time, I asked if he might help with this, the bottom of the windowsill, because that's a little trickier cutting. So he helped me out with that, and then he helped me out with the inner trim. And now I know how to do the outer trim and the top. So now I can finish that myself. He helped me out with the hard parts, and so left me in a very good position to finish that out. Oh, one of my neighbors gave me some tomatoes today, and I did harvest my first lipstick pepper. Thank you, Rachel and Tyler. I harvested my first lipstick pepper, and I gave it to Gregg. Gregg deserved it. So, yep, got some tomatoes, and I'll be giving them some eggs and return the favor. Cool, cool, cool. I am excited about the recent progress. That was just a huge boost. And now I've got the knowledge, and knowledge is power. Now I got the knowledge to finish up the trim and the power tools. Power tools are power also. Still a lot to be done. The kitchen, well, not the kitchen. Well, yeah, the kitchen countertops, and you can see that gap there. The ceiling needs to be finished on both sides. All of the trim along the floor, all of the trim along the ceiling. After the ceiling is finished, I got to finish that window, finish that door. I've got another door that, the front door needs to be done. Then I have trim in the bathroom that needs to be done. Then I have the caps on the top of the walls for the bedroom and bathroom. The little cat walks up. Anyway, I'm not complaining at all, but now I have tools that will definitely help me get there sooner rather than later. I'm not going to make any promises on when it's going to get done. Let me show you this. Yeah, that has all been stained. There are 1x4s, 1x6s, a couple 1x8s, and the 1x6s are for the caps. Hey, Grumpy. Are you going in your chair or in the window? You don't know? You going in the front window? Okay. Anyway, that's already been stained and it's ready to go. And you can see that's a pretty big pile of wood there that still needs to be done. It'll get done when it gets done. I work at my own pace. I would rather under-promise and over-deliver, and then over-promise and under-deliver. That has been one of my philosophies since I don't know, back probably in my Millikan business school days. Anyway, don't get me started on business practices in 2019. So I can really start hammering this out before it's move-in ready. And by that I mean somebody gifted me 4 cabinets, the metal with like 4 shelves on it, and it comes on. Well, you can do it with or without the wheels, but yeah. So I have places for 3 of those. I want to put those. I've got those new cat shelves that were gifted to me. I want to put those up. The mini blind things for the front window, that I've got curtains that need to go up, and yeah, they're just a lot of little stuff. But once I can get that trim in here, then I can move my computer, because then I won't have to be shuffling things around to get work done. And that's what I did on Friday to prepare for Saturday. Then that's what I did on Sunday to prepare for Monday. And then today, Tuesday, I had to go into town real quick, but today I had to try to prepare for tomorrow, because who knows who might show up tomorrow. Drew from Dutch Creek Cabin. So I'm getting there thanks to all this wonderful help, and Gregg was a great teacher. John and Stephanie were great teachers, and they were so much fun to hang out with. And I'm just I'm exhausted right now is what I am. And that's alright. I can go, stretches, but then I need other stretches where I'm not going, full throttle. But, cool. Anyway, this is going to be a long video. It is what it is. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody who has contributed to this homestead and to this tiny shed to house. It's not so tiny, it's 480 square feet. So thank you to everyone who's contributed to making my life so much better than I had dreamed it would be at this point. And yeah, so thank you. Take her easy, everybody.